Welcome back, everybody, to a very special video. Check out the box. All right, so when we got a big box, that means we got a big unboxing, and you could say it's the return of comic book unboxings, because I have not ordered anything collected edition wise in a little bit. So we'll get into this order. This is from In Stock Trades, my favorite place to order collected edition comic books, graphic novels, deluxe editions, omnis, that sort of thing. So we'll get into that, but I also wanted to show you guys what I've been purchasing at my local comic book store the last couple trips. You might have seen them in my Wednesday vlogs, but I did want to let you guys know what I've been picking up in my local comic book stores. So we'll get into that one second. Let's get into the box first. So a lot of cool stuff in this box. Of course, they got great packaging, nice bubble wrap. There's 3 things in this one, and a couple of these things are going to be things that I plan on reading in the month of June. So first things first, we've got the Darwyn Cooke's The Spirit, the Connoisseur edition. You guys see it. This is a little bit bigger than a DC Absolute edition. You guys can see them lined up, maybe like a ½ inch of difference in page size. So this should be pretty cool. Darwyn Cooke, classic material here. His Spirit, not read any Spirit material before, but Darwyn Cooke, what a legend. Rest in peace to the GOAT. We also have the Human Target, a Greg Smallwood and Tom King classic story. When I was reading this in single issues, it like opened my eyes to Tom King. This is my favorite Tom King story, I think. So good. And then from there, I went on to read Mr. Miracle, started going down the, older material path for Tom King stories. But this is where it all started for me. My first Tom King story that I fell in love with. We have the Human Target, excellent kind of mystery. I love the vibes from Greg Smallwood, great artwork in that. Over from Jonathan Hickman Weaver, we have S.H.I.E.L.D. Okay, so this is S.H.I.E.L.D., the little graphic novel. Technically, I guess it's an omnibus, okay, but it's a little bit skinnier. I'd probably call it a deluxe edition, but I got this for a really nice sale, trying to collect a lot of the Jonathan Hickman Marvel saga. I'm enjoying my read-through of that. We did the Avengers #1, we did Fantastic Four 1 and 2. Still got to read some of the S.H.I.E.L.D. type of stuff, the stuff he did prior to, I believe prior to, working on Fantastic Four. So that's the first 3 things that we have. This is from the In Stock Trades order. 2 deluxes. I guess one of them was an Omni, but then we got the absolute Darwyn Cooke Connoisseur edition. We're going to get into these. We're going to show you guys the artwork flip through in a little bit. But first off, let me show you and remind you guys what I've been picking up in my local comic book store. So I'll start off with the omnibus right on the bottom. I got this on free comic book day with my brother. Of course, we have Immortal Iron Fist and the Immortal Weapons, Brubaker Fraction, a lot of different great creators on that. You guys can see any of those names look familiar to you. Aha, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, great stuff here. This is just gonna be some excellent Immortal Iron Fist. I've not read any of this material before. It's been a character that I've been wanting to dive deeper into. So this looks great. I'll show you guys just a little bit of the art before we flip through and show you guys a lot of the art. But there we go, the Immortal Iron Fist. Can't wait to get into that. Probably going to be a June read. Kind of a thicker Omni though, but might be a June read. We'll see. A little bit damaged on the top. Do I have to, preface that? A little bit of spine damage, but it didn't go through all the way. So hopefully we can keep it from breaking further. We also have 5 Gears in Reverse, a criminal story. Already had a chance to read this. I picked it up as I'm recording the last new comic book day, and it's excellent. Another certified classic banger in Ed Brubaker, Sean Phillips' criminal saga, focusing on Ricky Lawless. It's great. Probably do a full review of everything I read in the month of May. That'll be my next video. We also have a bunch of compact comics. So as you guys can see, I'm loving the DC compact comic format. It's really easy to justify just throwing in a compact to your local comic book store like haul for the week. Every single Wednesday, I feel like I'm picking up a compact comic, dude. So it's pretty cool. We have Why the Last Man, great read from Brian K. Vaughan. A little bit dated in the dialogue, maybe. We have Green Arrow Year One, a perfect DC compact. Diggle kills it. Jock has great artwork. Just a definitive origin story for Oliver Queen. Excellent stuff in Green Arrow Year One. And for 10 bucks, you can't beat it. You also can't beat Gotham Central for 10 bucks. Ed Brubaker, Greg Rucka, artwork from Michael Lark, where they're taking turns doing the night shift, day shift, focusing on a specific squad in the GCPD. This is Gotham Central. I love the omnibus, but I had to pick up the compact, just like I had to pick up Superman Red Sun. I've read this material before, so it's not going to be a fresh read, but I haven't read it in a really, really long time. So can't wait to get into it. Always love a fun Elseworld story. Not saying it's the best story of all time, right? But I do love Elseworld stories. And then last but not least, in this comic book haul, we have The Private Eye from Brian K. Vaughan, Marcos Martin, and of course we have Months of Vicente on the coloring. This looks totally wacky, man. I really, really like Marcos Martin's style here. Really cool stuff. I've more seen his stuff in kind of the slice of life. Maybe you dip into the fantasy a little bit, but this looks like straight sci-fi stuff from the looks of it. So I cannot wait to get into The Private Eye. And you guys can see on the corner, a little bit of a damage here. So when I was at my bookstore, when I saw this, I was asking them, hey, would you guys discount this? They're like, yeah, we'll give you like, there'll be 15 bucks for the thing. So I thought that was a good deal. Brian K. Vaughan, kind of an interesting form factor too, this kind of squatter form factor, but there we go. Private Eye will complete the comic book haul. That's everything we got. Let me show you some of the artwork for some of the stuff that's sealed, and then we'll call it a day. All right, so I did a little stretching of the spine. Let's take a closer look at these 3 collected editions. Starting off with the Human Target, all right? So I'm in love with the Human Target. When I read it for the first time, I just could not say enough good things about Tom King and Greg Smallwood's little adventure story here. Great mystery, focusing on the Human Target. We get a great cast of characters here. It's characters that I'm not entirely familiar with. We get characters like Booster Gold, Fire and Ice, Guy Gardner, Green Lantern. I guess it's like is that Justice League International? I forget the exact team that this kind of focuses on, but it's like an Elseworld story. It's not really taking place inside a continuity. We also get some great stuff with Martian Manhunter near the end. I just thought that this was awesome as I'm flipping through. Hopefully you guys are falling in love with the Greg Smallwood art. No one's really doing it like Greg Smallwood. It's so unique, always loving the colors throughout and the kind of wispy thin lines. I think he's got great facial expressions. And like I was saying, it's just a great mystery. So really recommend checking out the Human Target, a Black Label story. Let's check out what it looks like underneath the dust jacket. Just a beautiful collection, okay? So we know that Ice is a big character in it, so it's kind of got the touch of little snowflakes. I like this kind of blue. And yeah, this is just a beautiful, beautiful collected edition. It's got this nice kind of pink treatment on the inside and not sprayed edges, but it does have kind of interesting colored edges on the side for the pages. So there you go, the Spirit Connoisseur edition. So of course you have this giant, beautiful slipcase cover featuring the Spirit on one side, the Spirit and his lady on the other side. Let's get into it. Beautiful, beautiful collection, okay? Oversized, great looking Darwyn Cooke artwork. I'm most familiar with Darwyn Cooke stuff, of course, in Infinite Frontier, but more so in Ed Brubaker's Catwoman of East End Omnibus. I really loved seeing Darwyn Cooke stuff in that, and I just can't wait to read some Spirit material. Not read any Spirit stories at all, but I know that it's such a classic character. Will Eisner's Spirit has so much importance to the history of comic books. Let's see what Darwyn Cooke's got cooking for the Spirit. Just a beautiful, beautiful collected edition. Gotta be honest, I mean, this might be, like, I've not read this before, not read this material, of course, but this might be like the best looking collected edition in my collection. So really glad to have that before it could sell out. Excellent stuff. And then finally, last but not least, let's take a look at the S.H.I.E.L.D Omnibus / Deluxe edition from Jonathan Hickman, Dustin Weaver, underneath the dust jacket. I don't know what's going on there. Some sci-fi goodness. And let's flip through the artwork a little bit. So tell me down in the comments, okay? What's going on with S.H.I.E.L.D? I just knew that I needed it at some point to kind of fill in the Jonathan Hickman Marvel saga that I've been really enjoying. So let me know, what's going on with S.H.I.E.L.D? Is this something that people would say, oh, Cody, big miss there, you probably shouldn't have picked that up, it's kind of garbage? I'm not too sure. I don't hear anybody talking about it. But when I saw it for, not Nick and Dent, but it was like a spring sale or something. I forget exactly the sale I got it off of In Stock Trades. But I just thought it'd be a nice pickup to, again, fill in some of that Jonathan Hickman Marvel saga that I've been missing. But there we go. But there we have it. Nice big comic book haul. Now I got to find places for all of these on my shelves behind me. That's always the toughest part. Let me know what you guys have been picking up lately in your comic book hauls. I'd be very curious to know. And expect some more comic book hauls, all right? So you guys know, longtime viewers, I used to get comic book hauls all the time. Kind of been laying off a little bit, but there are a ton of collected editions that have come out in the last couple months that I need to pick up. So expect some hauls. Thank you guys for watching, and read more comics.